everybody, this is Rachel Toby from ChemKid 2. Today we are going to be balancing some equations. So first I'm going to go over one equation where I'm going to explain to you everything in the equation. And then we have another equation that we're going to go through step by step. And then we are going to do a third equation that we're going to do together. So hope you enjoy. Thanks! So there are two different parts of every equation. On the left side of the arrow is always the reactants. The reactants react with each other and they make the product, which is always on the right side of the equation. And the arrow in the middle is what defines between your reactants and your products. The next important thing is the subscripts. The subscripts are the small numbers next to the letters that are written on the bottom right corner of the letter. Don't pay attention to the subscripts at all. They are only there to tell you about homonuclear diatomics and all that, which is a really big word and kind of scary. But anyway, so you don't need to pay attention to those at all. Just copy them down to your next level. On the left side of every letter are the moles. Now, even if there's not a mole written there, that doesn't mean that there aren't any moles of it. It's understood to be 1. So the moles will always be a whole number. And these are the numbers that will tell you what numbers to put in your side columns, which I will explain in a little bit. So those are the numbers you are going to change in the problem. So those are the numbers that you're going to have to pay attention to and multiply and change and all that. So those are very, very important numbers. The letters next to the elements or molecules are gases, solids, liquids, or dissolved in water. S, G, L, and AQ. Those will not affect your equation at all. You'll just copy them down into your next level just like you did with your subscripts. So just don't pay attention to them and copy them down to your next level. Now I'm going to explain to you how to balance a chemical equation. Okay, so this is the first equation we're going to work on. C3H8 plus O2 equals CO2 plus H2O. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw these columns over here on this side of the board. And so we have one column for reactants and one column for products. And in each column, I wrote down all the letters that are listed in one side of the equation. C, H, and O. So we have C, H, and O over here, and they're written on both sides of the column because they're on both sides of the equation. So in each column, by the letter, we are going to write down how many of that letter there are on each side, on the reactant side and the product side. So we have 3 written down over here because there's 1 mole, understood 1, and there's a subscript of 3. So to find how many of each letter there are on each side, you multiply the subscript by the mole. So you multiply 3 times 1, you get 3. And then same thing with 8. 8 times 1, 2 times 1, you have 3, 8, and 2. You're going to do the same thing on the product side. See, 1 times 1, 2 times 1, you get 1 over there, and then H times 2 times 1 equals 2. So then you go to O. O is written in 2 different spots, CO2 and H2O. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the total O's from this one, 2 times 1, you get 2 O's in this part of it. O over here, 1 times 1, you get 1, and you're going to add these 2 together. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. So that is how many O's you're going to have. So in order for an equation to be balanced, you have to have the same number of C's, the same number of H's, and the same number of O's on each side of the equation. So we're going to start with our C's. So we have 1 C on the product side, and we have 3 C's on the reactant side. So since 3 is 3 times more than 1, we are going to add a 3 in front of the C. So right here where this understood 1 is, we're going to put a 3. So then we'll have the same number of C's on this side as we will on this side. So we're going to copy this whole equation down exactly the same way, except there's going to be a 3 here instead of a 1. So we copied down the second level of our equation, and like I said, we added the 3 right there. And so now we have to change all these numbers in our columns over there because we changed a number over here. So since we didn't add or subtract anything from this side of the equation, we don't have to change any of these numbers. So I just copied these 3 numbers down to here. So since we did change something, we have to change the numbers on that side. So if we go to the C, we have a subscript of 1 times the 3 moles. 3 times 1 equals 3. So as you can see, C has 3, C has 3. So 1/3 of our equation is balanced. Yay! Now we just have to balance the other 2/3 of it, unfortunately. So the next thing is the H's, and so H, 2 times 1 equals 2. And then like we did before, we have to find the O's from this part and the O's from this part and add them together. And so 2 times 3 equals 6. We have 6 O's in this part. And 1 times 1 equals 1. So we have 1 O over here. 6 plus 1 equals 7. So our C's are balanced, so we still have to balance the H's and the O's. And so the next one we are going to work on is the H's. And so 8 is 4 times more than 2. And since the 2 is on the product side, we're going to find the H on the product side, which is right here. And where this understood 1 is, we're going to change it to a 4, because 2 times 4 equals 8. So the next thing we're going to do is add a 4 here, copy this whole level down again. The only change we're going to make is to add a 4 there. So now we've copied down the third level of our equation, and we added the 4 in front of the H. And so since we didn't change anything on this side, we got to copy those numbers down again, just the same. So we have C3, H8, O2. And then over here, for the C, we have C3. H, we have 2 times 4, which is H8. And then we have 6 O's on this side because we have 3 times 2. So we have 6 O's for this part. And then over here, we have 1 times 4, which is 4 O's on that side. And 6 plus 4 equals 10. And so now we have our C's balanced and our H's balanced. H's. And so now we move on to the O. Now, this is a little bit different because we have 10 O's on this side and 2 O's over here. And 10 is 5 times more than 2, so we need to multiply this side by 5 to get it up to 10. So this is the O on this side. So where this understood 1 is, right here, we are going to put a 5 in there instead. So then 5 times 2 equals 10, which is how many O's we have over here. So just like we have in these 2 previous levels, we're going to copy down everything from this level, except we're going to add a 5 right there. So now we have copied down the final level of our equation. And so we're going to follow the same process we've been following this whole time. So on the reactant side, 3 times 1 equals 3 for the C's, and 1 times 3 equals 3 for the C's. So our C's are balanced. If we go to the H's, 8 times 1 equals 8. 2 times 4 equals 8. So we have 8 H's on this side, 8 on this side. And then finally, we have our O's. 2 times 5 equals 10. Over here, we have 1 times 4 equals 4. And 2 times 3 equals 6. And 6 plus 4 equals 10. So we have 10 O's on this side, 10 O's on this side. Now, as you can see, all our numbers match, which means our problem is balanced. Yay, we have a balanced equation. So now we are going to work on one together where I'm going to do a step and then give you time to do it, and then we can work through the problem. So this is the first equation, the first level of our equation that we are going to work on. Ca in the solid form plus O2, which is a gas, plus C, which is a gas, all reacted together creates CaCO in the gaseous form. So now this is the second level of our equation. As you can see, I added a 2 in front of the CaCO on the product side because the oxygen on the reactant side was twice as much on the reactant side than it was on the product side. So we added a 2 to the product side to balance out the oxygen. So in our columns on the side, we could see that the calcium, or Ca, there was twice as much on the product side as there was on the reactant side. So we're going to do the exact opposite as we did in the second level, and we're going to add a 2 in front of the Ca on the reactant side. So after adding the 2 in front of the C to balance out the C's on the reactant side and the product side, our Ca's both have 2, the O's have 2, and the C's have 2 on both sides of the equation, which means our equation is balanced. Yay! We know how to balance equations now! So exciting! Because, you know, chemistry is fun, and we're having fun balancing equations. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below what other videos you want to do. The next one I'm thinking about is stoichiometry, but after that I don't have anything planned for what video I'm going to do, so let me know what chemistry subjects you need help on or have questions about, and I will try to make a video about it. And also, I'm on Facebook now. Yay! So, facebook.com/chemkid2. You can like my page on there, and so you can also talk to me on there about what kind of videos you want next. So, thanks guys! Bye!